So
Camera over there.
I spoke to Leslie Donnelly at the State Attorney General's office and Julie Ryder, who is the authority over the Butler County Townships. They both gave me an identical answer, which is this is completely acceptable to have next to me in my seat. Last time you started talking about wanting to call the sheriff, I did you the courtesy of inviting him here myself. If you have a problem, you can talk to him. That's all I have to say. Thank you. I am following the law to a T.
And so am I, Mr. Peterson.
Nope.
The law clearly states that I can have you and your camera in a logical place for the filming. I simply wanted you over against that wall. That's all I wanted. That is all I want. And I believe you will find that is in complete compliance. I'm not asking you to go out in the parking lot. I'm not asking you to do anything else. I'm asking you to take that camera, put it against that wall, and if you want to sit right there, knock yourself out. But I'd prefer you sit with your equipment.
My hearing deficiency, real thing, doesn't allow me to hear from Ben in
Then
that corner.
simply put your camera over against that wall, like I requested you to do that.
And then I'm unable to monitor the camera. So I laid all this out for Julie and Leslie, and they said that there's no problem. They also said there's no reason I can't put a microphone on the table, but you denied that request. I'm not gonna push that, but you can call Julie or you can talk to the sheriff there. I don't see why it's such a problem. The supervisors' meetings have all their meetings recorded.
Has anybody stopped you from recording?
Is anybody in here against me having the camera in the front row? Okay, there you go. You're the only one with the problem.
I'm the only one with the problem. Okay,
Anybody speak
you know
up?
what?
Currently, are you running this meeting? I mean, was that legal to ask the rest of the patrons here if they're
Okay.
okay with that?
So this is
Public comment.
Is that a legal statute?
Public comment.
Yeah, I just probably better check on that also. Yeah.
So this is where we're at. Okay, this is where we're at. I, at this particular moment, don't care if the camera sits there.
Okay.
All right. I do, however, care about who is running this meeting.
I'm not gonna say another word.
That would be an excellent choice. Okay? That'd be an excellent choice. And you can rest assured your interpretation of what you believe to be factual and my interpretation is going to be groomed through a legal process. Okay? So we shall see.
Go to Julie. She's your authority.
No, Julie's not my authority.
She is. She
I said-
proceeds
you
over
said-
the Open Meetings Act.
Joe,
She
you
is the
said
one.
you weren't saying another word, and I agreed. Thank you. So,
For item five on the agenda pertaining to patron input, Greg Lance, Jesse Perry, and Joe Peterson were in attendance. Greg brought up the hauling of chicken manure through the township and the chicken manure dust that was blown off the trucks while hauling. Lori asked specifically where the manure pile was located, and Greg stated that the manure pile was close to the intersection of 37 and C roads. He said that Nutrient Advisors was one of the larger customers of this manure. Greg said Jody Murphy and Gallus Group should be able to provide the trucking company name and the contact information for the company that is doing this hauling. Greg also has the contact information for Nutrient Advisors, and Lori will contact him for that information, which I forgot to do. Greg has noticed that the CO2 pipeline drivers were better about driving carefully and were only traveling at around 35 miles per hour. Greg told the board that he would prefer that the road maintenance be completed after all the manure is hauled away from the chicken barns if all things are normal. For item 6A on the agenda regarding the summit roads and 6C regarding the equipment, Shane stated that the signs for no outlet and minimum maintenance road are now up for the road John Proskovic is building to his property. He also reported that the motor grader has not worked for a week. The breakdown is because of a software issue related to death. The program is a government program, so we can't bypass it. Cat NMC is on the lookout for the necessary replacement part. However, Shane was told there are not many of these parts available and on hand throughout the state and the country. NMC has one customer ahead of us waiting for this part, but we are second in line. Shane had discussed with NMC about this issue, and they had mentioned at the time they were working on a software program that would allow this part to be bypassed. However, this work was never completed or released for customers to use. Don asked what NMC Cat would do if there was a snowstorm requiring the roads to be cleared, but our machine was not available. What would the townships use for a machine while the current one is out of commission during a snowstorm? The board discussed writing a letter on this topic to NMC Cat, asking what would be done so that the township would have a piece of equipment to use in these situations. In this letter, the boards will state that it is unacceptable for their company not to have the necessary parts on hand. Don will obtain the name of the person to whom this letter should be addressed. Regarding the ongoing work for the CO2 pipeline, it was noticed by patrons that the pipeline work appears to be coming from the north rather than the south. Judah Lopez from Tallgrass had informed Lori that they would be working up from the south in Fillmore County toward Summit Township. Lori will contact Judah to confirm why the work appears to be moving north to south. Under item 6B regarding the joint discussion between Olive and Summit, Charlie M. Smiler, chairman of Olive Township, informed the Summit board that they have a letter notifying us of the termination of our interlocal agreement effective in 90 days, March. For item 7 on the agenda, Frank reported that there are a couple of CDs which will be renewing for Summit Township in December. He will investigate interest rates with other banks to find the best ones. Frank will notify Lori when another signature is required. For item 8 on the agenda, there were no emergency items brought to the meeting. For item 9 on the agenda, a motion was made by Don Carley to provide payment of pending bills pertaining to road maintenance and joint expenses that are being split with Olive Township. Lori Collenbach seconded the motion, and the motion passed with a vote yes by all board members present. A spreadsheet for the previous month's bills was given to Olive Township with a copy of each bill. For item 10 on the agenda, the date for the next board meeting was set for January 2nd, 2025 at 7 p.m. at the Rising City Community Hall. The board went into executive session at 8:08 p.m. The meeting was declared adjourned at 8:35 p.m. by Chairman Don Carley. Lori Collenbach, Clerk of Summit Township.
Thank you, Lori. I didn't hear anything in there that needed to be
No,
modified.
it sounded good to me.
Did you?
So,
I'm open to,
The way you brought up about me bringing up the manure,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
about the text change where you said you had a complaint from a patron,
yes.
then I chimed in.
Oh,
I didn't bring it up,
okay,
I was
Oh.
not part of my patron again. You
Sorry.
did bring that up, that another neighbor, not myself, brought that.
got it. I will correct that so that it says that I brought it up and that you added.
I informed you of the avenues of how manure is sold.
Okay, yep,
Alright.
I will correct that. And
so,
I can send out the minutes to you with that correction too.
right, so, I would make a motion, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna move to
Alright.
accept it as corrected.
Corrected. Second that motion. All right, and how do you vote, Lori?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, all three of us vote yes. All right, now then. Joint discussion between Olive and Summit Township regarding items pertaining to road maintenance and the interlocal agreement. Charlie and Jason, you don't have to sit back there if you wanna, anyway, you can sit where you wanna sit, but I found out a couple of things, so I just want to impart to you a couple of things I found out. We have found out that what we generally refer to as a purchase agreement between us and CAT, as an entity, actually is a lease to own agreement, okay? Now, that only changes it changes things in the legal world, but it doesn't change the reality or the practical parts that exist here. We, in Summit Township fully intend to make the lease payments, okay? So that the machine will ultimately be our machine. The thing that needs to be discussed is how to best, it's like an equity in the home. There's some equity in that machine that Olive Township helped build when it made payments. But as far as CAT is concerned, only Summit Township is the person that's liable for making the payments. So with that said, we have gone out and acquired an appraisal. We know what the basic balance is. We know what the balance is, not to the penny, but we know what the basic balance is and whatnot. And what I would propose is that we get that number, okay, get those numbers put together and then share that with you. And then I would propose that at our April meeting, when things are settled, okay, at our April meeting, then we would write you a check that would cover your equity portion of the maintainer, okay? So that's how that item, that's where we're at as far as where we're going there. The machine can't go on an auction. It's owned by CAT, and they're not going to put it on an auction. We have no reason to put it on an auction, no reason at all, because we have every intention of making the payments and then settling with Olive Township. Okay, so that's where we're at on the grader. With regards to bills, the opinion is that the interlocal agreement is as much in force now as it was back when you voted to dissolve it. So it's in force until the 1st of March. So the sharing of the sharing of bills is still in place, okay? That includes the payment for the operator, okay? Now, the way Summit Township does this at this point in time is we pay the bill to Moravec. It has been our practice for all the time that we've been together between Olive and Summit that we provide the payment to Moravec and then the wages are paid, and then we submit to Olive their portion of that, and that comes back to us. We intend to continue to do that through the month, for the months December, January, and February, okay? Now, it's our interpretation of the employment contract that's in place with Mr. Hinkle, that we are obligated to do that, and that our interpretation further is that Olive is also obligated to do that through that point of time. Now, that'll be up to you to decide if in other words, gentlemen, as a practical matter, we're gonna pay it, and then we're gonna submit you the bills that we paid it, okay? And you will choose to either go forward and pay your half just as if things were normal, or you'll choose not to. Our interpretation of his employment contract is that it was improperly handled, okay? We'll leave it at that. And we don't want to get sideways with the Nebraska Labor Relations people, because we think that's what will happen if we cease to do what we just outlined for you. Okay. Now that's just how we're going to go at it. Okay. With regards to jointly owned equipment, Lori is going to find out the availability of this building, and then she's going to find out when we can, based on availability, and then the placement in the Banner Press. We're going to hold a public meeting in front of our patrons on how to go forward with this, and talk about how to go forward and do that in that meeting setting. And that will happen definitely will happen within the next 2 calendar weeks, starting Monday, the calendar week starting Monday next week. You know, somewhere in that 2-week time period, we'll get together and we will talk through all of that. And when we finish with that meeting, then we'll apprise you of this is how we would like to go forward, and see how Olive would like to respond to that, and you know, et cetera. And so that decision, that's the motion I'm fixing to make, and that decision basically has been one I've been thinking about for a good long time. And I've talked to enough people to know that I don't know the answers to a lot of different questions, and I would like to have the public knowledge of and opinions as part of this process. And so hence the reason why I'm going to make a motion that we craft this meeting and do that, and get the public input, and et cetera. So that's where we're at. I firmly believe that by when I say April, I'm just saying that will be the end. Everything would be settled up by April from a financial point of view, type of thing. I mean, everything will have transpired in front of April and rolled along, but it'll all be tidied up from a cash flow point of view by the month of April, or early part of April, and whatnot. So, to my board, you've heard me articulate those 2 points and then make a suggestion on the 3rd point. So I'd like to make a motion that, Lori, that you explore availability of the building and getting a public notice, and bring those 2 points together and whatnot, and then so that's for and the single line item that will be discussed there. The single line item will be the equipment, and formulating a plan as to what to do with that equipment, and then supply that information to the Olive Township Board. Yeah, to the Olive Township Board.
The only thing I would add to that is on the list, there's probably like some inventory on, we got the list from Frank today, it's pretty good, like grader bits, just, you know, things like that, maybe, inventory should be on that list, grader bits, things we bought.
Okay.
Maybe extra stuff we own together, other than the
Personal property
personal property, just
and
things.
inventory, yeah.
Okay. So, okay, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. And that is exactly what that meeting is all about, is having those kinds of discussions and deciding how we want to go at that. Gentlemen, that's exactly how that sounded. That's where we're at. So, how's the motion kind of put together there in your mind?
Let's see, Don made a motion to check on the availability of this forum and placing an ad in the banner press, within the next 2 weeks.
For the purpose of
Purpose of the inventory, or
the
Equipment and
equipment
For
and
equipment.
inventory.
yeah. Okay. I think that'll work. Yeah.
I guess like to add to the equipment, the personal property and inventory, can we get that list like within the next week then, before the meeting would be? The updated list? Or, you
Yeah,
know,
we don't-
not
yeah.
updated, but to include those items?
I'd go with Shane or if somebody needs to come along. We don't have much, we don't have oil much on, just enough oil on hand to take care of.
I get my kits as I need them, so
Yeah.
I don't carry them.
Yeah.
But we probably have some on hand, some stuff on hand.
Well, I got enough oil to change it for the tractor and a couple filters. I just got a kit for the maintainer to change that.
And we got-
There's a few bits there, you know, I mean, that could be, put on there, otherwise, that's about it.
Quite a few, we just spent 20 grand in bids.
Well, there's them, yeah, they're,
Yeah, like that, I'm just saying, maybe put that, not 20
Yeah,
grand, you spent,
yeah.
split it, of course, but put that on there, like, that's a substantial amount. That's,
Tire chains,
tire chains and things like that.
yeah, tools, I guess.
Tools was
tools, all we have for tools is,
pretty minor. I
we
mean,
get there,
grease gun,
there's a couple hammers, a grease gun, a Milwaukee grease gun, a Milwaukee
I
half
guess
inch,
just put it on the list.
yeah, impact, but I mean, they're 5-6 years old, I mean,
But
yeah, I'll put it on, but I'm just
One-
saying, they're not.
one suggestion is what we did have, unbeknownst to some people, is that we had a very good working relationship with Olive Township prior to this, okay? When you sold your building, they asked about rent on the building, and we go like, we don't need rent on our building. And so we just assume that, if there's a few tools or something, we'll make a list, but I mean, if they're minor, I mean, would that just tend to be, hey, we'll give you that for, I mean, you were good to us, we didn't charge you for anything. I mean, you actually sold your building and used ours.
That's fine, we're
I
good.
mean, but we'll make a
All
list.
right, I'll put a
We'll
list
make a
together.
list. Yeah, we can make a list, but, that was just in the back of our mind, just as a good faith. I know Charlie says no handshakes, they were handshake deals. The former board was pretty much handshake deals, that's what we were. So,
So, I made the motion, do I hear a second?
oh, awesome.
All right, Frank's got a second, all right.
And they made mention that I attended all this meeting just as a patron of the county. They made mention about road close signs.
Yeah, Randy has been calling me, I gotta talk to him in the morning.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there's some there, I just gotta go.
I
count how
says,
many we
I
got.
told him, I says, I have no idea.
Is there any way we can grab a couple tonight? Shannon,
Well,
or-
Pat's actually got 2,
Oh, that's right, I forgot, Pat says that too. So I'm gonna grab those two from Pat.
And I think,
Then I'll have a
I
couple
think,
right away.
Hank said he had one.
Hank said there was one somewhere up there.
Yeah.
well, it probably wasn't ours, it's probably the county's, but
Oh,
just take
no.
it anyway. If it sits there long enough, you just gotta inherit
So I'll
it.
take two of them from Pat, so you guys know.
Okay.
So we have something if we need it.
And I told Randy, I'm gonna go check for sure how many I had, and then he was gonna come get whatever was fair, he said, so.
All right. So we have a second.
Do we need to take a vote?
We do,
Um,
and how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. So, we got that taken care of. All right. gentlemen and everybody else in there, we're fixing to move into discussion on Summit Roads and get the operator's report and do that kind of stuff is where we're fixing to go. Don't intend to come back and pick up any points of interaction that would be between the two boards. So, okay, all right. Now then, Mr. Hinkle,
Yes.
Summit Roads,
Yes.
current status.
Oh, wait, well, just before we leave this though, then, so we should mail you what you owe for this month? You want it mailed to you?
Do
Since
you
you
have
haven't-
it with
I
you?
do have it with me.
We can take that, and then at our next board meeting, we'll give you a check
Yep,
for that.
that was good. Here's last month's documentation, just that we give, you know, kind of years of the final version, sometimes I this is the.
Do you want us to mail this check to you after the next board meeting, or do you want us to?
You can, that's fine. Actually, let me see. This is November. Messed up with all my papers here.
You take your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take your time.
And I don't think they only make a copy of this one.
Just take your time.
Yeah, you can
You-
make,
you
you
need-
can make
you
us
need-
another copy.
Okay,
You
if you're
take a
okay with
picture
that.
of
Yeah, yes, with me.
Oh, yeah.
You can just take a picture with your phone.
Sorry, I'm just organized with my two.
Well, or you want,
locations.
is this the one you need, Lori? You can have mine for now.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then you can always give me another one.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, then just give me another one.
Here you go, this one's for 4,000. Thank you, yeah, you can just mail it to me if you want.
This is, see, that's not interesting.
Well, I see on
Oh, that's the next, yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
where we're at, okay.
Which I can mail those to when I get those, so, okay,
That's where it's at.
okay.
Okay. You okay, Frank?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Shane?
Well, of course, it's that time of year where things ain't gonna work real good on the roads, cause it's getting hard, but we haven't had much moisture, the roads are hard. I mean, go out and do stuff, you're probably not gonna, I mean, you might pull the window off, put it right back, cause you wanna keep it on the east and south sides for snow, so you don't throw it in the road ditch. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, I mean, they're just gonna be what they are for a while, I mean, go out and do what you can do when you can and go from there. Otherwise, equipment wise,
The equipment's work.
yeah, it's fine, yeah.
And we did get that fixed,
Yeah,
like within
yeah,
about 2 days.
Yeah, after
We got
that meeting, we
part
actually
2
got
days.
bumped up, so
Yeah,
that was good.
so we weren't knocked down.
Building wise is in good shape, I mean, everything, like I said, everything's running good, building's in good shape,
Okay,
so heater's working, so.
okay. Excellent, excellent. All right. Now then. And so the building's fine, all of that's fine, down here. And there was no emergency items that were brought in here. So we just need to, review and do the payments stuff, and we'll be down to item number 9, that's where we're at on the agenda, folks.
Well, let's see, I have,
Oh, you got something? Oh.
7A.
Oh,
7A,
Sorry.
okay, I had, we had 2 CDs come
oh,
due.
sure.
And so I did put them into a access CD, since we have to buy equipment back. And so we're still getting a good rate of interest, and we can access that whenever we need it without penalty. You can access it every week, and you can take out just once a week so many dollars
Okay.
in multiples of 1,000, I think it was. And I did call you guys to sign. Did you guys
You
get to
did.
sign? You both signed? Okay,
Mhm.
so we're fine on that. Good enough.
I walked in and I said, I'm a friend of Frank, and they said, okay, here's your paper.
Thank buzzed you in.
Don said to say you beat.
It was more a case of, me just having a prompting and knowing you drive different roads than I drive on a regular basis, and different roads than Frank drives on a different basis, and whatnot, and so just a different set of eyes. And we got Mr. Lance's input, so that was appreciated.
Could I ask one easy question?
No,
Do you have
No.
a spot for public
No.
comment at the end of the meeting?
no,
Okay. Where's your spot for public comment in the meeting, so I'd know for next time? You don't have one, okay.
the way that this works is non-patron questions and input must be provided in writing to the board prior to the meeting. You are a non-patron, you need to provide the questions you want to ask in writing. So it's right there on the agenda that you had.
I was just trying to comment on what you're talking about, I'm not trying to bring an agenda item up. Similar to how Pat just talked over half your meeting for the last 3 meetings, and you didn't tell him he's not a patron, so he can't talk. I just wanted to give some,
Joe,
just
be
totally
quiet.
neutral, polite
please
input
be
on.
quiet. Please,
Okay,
thank you. I will read the sentence again because you said you had a hearing problem, and I want to make sure you hear this. Non-patron questions, input must be provided in writing to the board prior to the meeting. You're not a patron, and you will have something to question us about, bring it in writing, and it has to be submitted to the board before this meeting starts. Okay? Thank you. All right. Where did we?
Payments.
Payments. We're okay to be in payments? Okay, all right. All right, let's see where we're at here.
Okay, I have this. Thank you for letting me hand off your copy. So, here we go.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I don't know what new bills that you guys received.
I
or
did,
anything,
yeah, no,
or Shane?
I didn't, no.
Okay.
So, need a motion to approve the bills,
I'll make that motion.
and I'll second that motion. All right. How do you vote,
I
Lori?
vote yes.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. The February meeting,
The 5th, yep.
the 5th?
Yep.
5th. Do you still want to go at 7 PM or you want to do 6?
7's fine with me, I don't know, what, Lori?
Either one's fine. You
Yeah.
can't go any earlier than 6 probably, but
We'll just
Well,
leave
we
it at
just
7.
have it.
We'll just leave it at 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
it works for you. It works for me. All right.
thank you.
And then we will adjourn this meeting at 8:40.
No, 7:49.
Oh, 7:49. There you go. Thank you. 7:49. All right. Dalton.
Don gave me his, so I gotta have one.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cool.
But it
And
was
did you
on.
have a separate one for me for hours or not?
For last month, thank you.
Georgia.